you said you were abducted.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because it seems like something that most people foresaw. Like, why would you want to embark on a trek when the country is in so much turmoil, so much stress, strain here and there, with insecurity, kidnappers? Like, was it that you had some money stashed somewhere that you were sure that if you were kidnapped at some point, like, oh, I'll just...
Yeah,
and then
actually, I remember some response, some persons on our page who asked the same question. Okay, who actually said we better have some money for kidnapping. But the truth is that I was aware of it, but I hoped it wouldn't happen. I also prepared myself in the eventuality that it happens. But because I think I posted that I believe in Erufai's this thing of no ransom for kidnapping. Okay, so I was just walking towards the evening, hoping to round off maybe after a couple of kilometers. I was really tired, but I gave myself I gave myself a target where I would reach so that I could go rest. Then a vehicle stopped, and then young persons came out. The vehicle jumped out. 2 persons jumped out, and the vehicle reversed back. At first, I wasn't sure what it was. I tried to run, but then I said, no, I can't run very far. I was very tired. So the next thing was I was pulled, handled the banner I used to wear. It was yanked off me, and then I was shoved into the vehicle. It's still very traumatic remembering, but it's all good. So I was blindfolded. By then it was already getting dark. So driven to an unknown place. I think I was lying down, my hands were tied. I was lying down on the floor, on the ground through the night. So much, very late at night, somebody, I don't know, I couldn't see his face, came, spoke to me, and then started interrogating and interviewing me. So I told him what I am out for. The second day was just me still lying down on the ground, my hands behind my back, blindfolded.
No water.
No water for throughout that night. Throughout the second day, there was no water until late in the night when I spoke to one of them that I'm actually asthmatic and I need to use my inhaler. So can I use my inhaler? So he allowed me to use my inhaler, and then he gave me water. So, and I actually jokingly asked for that. Said, "Hi, feeling me now, boss. My money is out, and I need to get this thing done. I need to get myself." So when he was about blindfolded me, brought me to a junction. He had the money put in my pocket. He put the money in my pocket and dropped me off somewhere again at night.
Were you blindfolded?
Yeah, blindfolded. Yeah, again at night.
You felt like put money in your pocket. You told him you didn't have money on you again.
Yeah. I told him I actually needed their support if they can, but I'm sure they make money.
Yes. Can we meet you? What's your name?
My name's Innocent Charles Quantagora.
Okay. Tell us about your educational background. Went to school. What's your family like?
The family apart. Actually started off studying computer science at the Federal University of Technology, Mina, in Niger State. Also further, I went off to do some international studies in design in Tema and Ontario in Canada. So I studied design, structural design. I also work as an artist. A couple of my works have been sold to very prominent persons in the country.
Okay, so now we actually got to hear about your personality on Twitter, where you posted about going on a trek. What was the motive behind it? What was all that about?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'm going to make it quick, but it's actually a long story. Well, the thing is, looking at the state of mental health and the availability of help for people who are suffering it is almost non-existing. And even where it exists, it's not very adequate. I think I've toured a couple of states, like 30 states or 34 states in Nigeria. Excuse me, I think the only place I can see that have some good facility for mental health issue would be Oshun under the administration of Aregbesola. I actually was in Osogbo then as a much younger person, and I saw the wonderful work he put. He had put in a lot of energy into the mental health. Apart from that, Oshun and Osogbo, I don't know anywhere where you have this government is investing consciously in welfare of people who are mentally challenged. And then people will say, why mental? Because I was discussing with someone in the head of service in Oyo State, that's in Ibadan. And she was saying, we do go out one time and round up. I said, but that's not enough. These are human beings. They need to be cared for, like every time. Just like, I mean, they even need more care than people who are stable, because if you're stable mentally, you can actually fend for yourself. But when you are challenged, yeah. So, like I was saying, we noticed a lot of negligence on the part of society and the part of even the government.
But are you aware that at the moment people are conscious of their health, and mental health is suddenly starting to gain ground? Like people are conscious.
Yes, I'm aware, and I'm happy about that. Especially even when we went out with this, when we went out with our Trek campaign, a lot of people used our platform to actually share. Like I think there are some numbers that exist for what is it called, for people can actually reach, but most people don't know about it. So we know
when you're having problems, there are some numbers that you can just even call therapy.
For therapy, there are numbers.
Are they totally free? Are the services free?
I don't know, but they came to our platform and posted those numbers. Yeah, they posted those numbers.
Most people have the opinion that when you get to talk to a shrink, well, that's the way they say it in the Western world. Like it costs, a lump sum. Like you need to pay heavily to have people listen to you and talk about your burdens and all of that.
Well,
I
think
is it really so expensive, like to find someone to help you in your mental health journey?
No, I think it is expensive, but I think here is even worse. It's not even non-existent. Almost let me say almost non-existent. Okay. Yes, it's almost non-existent. The facilities or places to go to almost non-existent. So it's a really bigger challenge here. Not even the money. I'm sure one of our sisters is in the UK, in the US actually, getting treatment for whatever, an actress. So the fact that these facilities are not here.
Okay, so now let's move on to something more interesting, because that was actually the thrust for us. Like we were so interested. You decided to go on a trek, like embark on a trek, like campaign. You called it a campaign, yeah? So tell us more about that, because considering the insecurity in the country, you were willing to trek from, as at the time we saw your post, it was, you said you were going to trek from Osogbo to Lagos to Ibadan.
The route was Osogbo to Ibadan, then from Ibadan to Abeokuta, from Abeokuta then to Lagos. That was the design.
Tell us, what were you thinking?
Okay, so the thing is, my thought is that we needed to do something that would draw people's attention to this burning issue that is actually taking lives every day. Just recently, I'm sure you saw the video of a very old man who jumped into. So okay, was it? I didn't even know.
Okay, well, people said it was 3rd Mainland Bridge. I don't know.
So it was very, very
in Nigerian, definitely.
In Nigerian, in elderly man. So we needed to get. I needed to get something that would really draw people's attention to the topic of mental health. So that's why I decided it was a very risky thing. One, I am aware of the insecurity. I've witnessed a number of them in some states I've been, and then also the strain too on my person too. I'm aware, though of course it wasn't the first time I'd embarked on a trek. I think the first time I did was a little from Ede to Osogbo, which was a very short distance, just in appreciation of the person of Davido and his uncle during the last election. So, but then this was nothing like what I've done before. So I was aware of the enormous challenge and even the financial implication. And as it says, up to now I've funded this to mostly from my personal funds. So I was very aware. I was not ignorant of the whole thing, but I felt it was a task, it was a duty that was worth risking it all. Like I said recently, I mean, I got adopted towards the end of this thing, but then I still am back on track. I'm still going to continue with the trade campaign in Lagos, visiting.
Okay. So now let me take you back. You said you were abducted.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because it was. It seems like something that most people foresaw. Like, why would you want to? Why would you want to embark on a trek when the country is in so much turmoil, so much stress, strain here and there, with insecurity, kidnappers? Like, was it that you had some money stashed somewhere that you were sure that if you were kidnapped at some point, like, oh, I'll just and then
actually,
money.
I remember some persons on our page who asked the same question. Okay, who actually said we better have some money for kidnappers. But the truth is that I was aware of it, but I hoped it wouldn't happen. I also prepared myself in the eventuality that it happens. But I posted that I believe in Erufai's this thing of no ransom for kidnapping. Well, I'm willing to be killed, and if they don't want to release me, I'm willing to die. I don't believe in paying ransom.
Why are you willing to take such a risk?
Well, but I think, like I said again, the issue of mental health is something I also, I've not even talked about that. I also have an experience. Maybe I think the Almighty allowed me to experience some things to probably better prepare me to be more committed in them once I'm set on pursuing that cause. So I actually have my own share of challenges, depression, and all that, even a couple of attempted suicide. So I understand the pain and difficulties people who are mentally challenged go through. And the worst off is when you do not have help, when you don't
support system.
Exactly. So that's actually the main thing we intend to achieve with the whole trade campaign, to establish, at least start up, the structure for people who are mentally challenged, people who are battling depression and other mental illnesses, support system that they can actually be, they can actually get help
Okay. So now let's talk about your abduction. The trek itself started from Osogbo to Ibadan. How many days did it take you to reach Ibadan? Okay. And were you alone all through the journey, or you had some other people join you at some point? Okay.
From the onstart, we had about 6 persons and a number of camera. There was one cameraman and then 2 assistants. But again, it's not something everybody can do. So along the line, people dropped off. Again, talking about Osogbo, I think I need to bring out something here. Like in Osogbo, we started in Osogbo for a reason. There's a reason we started in Osogbo, because it was a place we felt had some facility for mental health. We went to study, but then it wasn't what it used to be before. So we decided to start up there, and then, like, for the trek properly, what I usually do was take a whole day, do like 25 kilometers, then the following day I would rest.
Okay. Yeah, so when you say 25 kilometers, you make sure you're in a town, you stop in a town so that you can rest, or do you just sleep in the bush or what?
No. I didn't. Someone was actually asking that, but I didn't say. I was just quiet about that. I just left as mystery. Actually, I had a base camp. My base camp was somewhere around close to Ede. So after the trek every night, I usually return to the base camp. I return to the base camp, then come back to the spot where we stopped off to continue early in the morning the following day.
Okay. So the way it works at your base camp, like when you trek out in the morning or during the day, whenever, you make sure you're trekking. Yeah. Then when you're returning, you can take a cab.
Yes. That's what I do.
So how many days did you do for Osogbo to Ibadan?
From Osogbo to Ibadan was 6 days. That's about 4 outings. 4 outings, because I rest in between. About 6 days.
And then you get to pack stuff like water, relief material.
Yes. Basically water and maybe some, not snacks, fizzy drink, like soft drink. That's what people like pack. A lot of water, actually. So like, probably if you see the videos, you'll probably see me with some bag. That's what I have there. Water, basically.
Okay. So, at what point, where exactly were you kidnapped? Like, what point was it? Was it Ibadan to Lagos or?
No, it was actually towards this end. It was the Ibadan end, right? Because we got to Ibadan. Like I had been pointing out to people, we're not just doing trek. We had a mission. Like in Osogbo when we started, we made sure we visited all the telecommunication companies and told and gave them a letter to the headquarters that this is what we want. We want a toll-free line for people who are suffering from mental health. Then when we got to Ibadan, it was the same thing to Ibadan. We had a magnanimity of the government. They gave us an ambulance and some support. So we went to all of the media houses in Ibadan, plus the major telecommunication companies. We reached out to them, gave them our letters of what we want them to do. So that's...
Was it en route Lagos, taking you back? Was it en route Lagos that you got abducted?
Yeah, it was en route Lagos. Yeah, it was en route Lagos because I stayed off for some time, had to attend to some family issues in Abuja, rested and came back and was about to... Okay, I just began the journey to Lagos. I think I'd finished almost, it was in the evening. And some person stopped and
Were you trekking when they stopped?
Yes. I was actually trekking.
And you were alone then?
Yeah, I was alone.
You lost all your...
Yeah, from Ibadan, I was alone. I was completely alone. If you see some of this, I have to actually do the selfie or probably give a passerby my camera to take a shot of me, a video of...
So what was the experience like? How were you stopped? How were you abducted?
Okay, so I was just walking towards the evening, hoping to round off maybe after a couple of kilometers. I was already tired, but I gave myself I gave myself a target where I would reach so that I could go rest. Then a vehicle stopped and then young persons came out. The vehicle jumped out, two persons jumped out and the vehicle reversed back. At first, I wasn't sure what it was. I tried to run, but then I said, no, I can't run very far. I was very tired. So the next thing was I was pulled, manhandled the banner I used to wear. It was yanked off me and then I was shoved into the vehicle. It's still very traumatic remembering, but it's all good. So I was blindfolded. By then it was already getting dark. So driven to an unknown place. I think I was lying down, my hands were tied. I was lying down on the floor, on the ground through the night. So much, very late at night, somebody, I don't know, I couldn't see his face, came, spoke to me, and then started interviewing me. So I told him what I am out for. I'm a rich person, I'm here campaigning, spending my money and my energy to get help for people who are helpless. Well, that seemed to strike a chord with him, the first one who interrogated me. But then the others joined and they seemed not to understand what I was talking about and not have anything. They were just rough asking, call somebody. Your phone, I unlocked my phone, call somebody. I said, I actually have nobody to call. My kids are very young and I'm not even married now, not with my wife again. As family, I said, I don't have family. I told them I'm an orphan and I had nobody. In fact, I actually take care of people, so I don't even know who to start calling for 10,000 naira now. People actually...
How much were they asking for?
No, I think the idea was you get somebody, then they would tell the person how much they would. So in the first place, I didn't even get... I told them I had nobody. So there was kicks, there was beating. But again, that first guy who, from what I could know, who interrogated me first, intervened and asked them to soft. So he came himself, threatened and said I should get somebody. They don't want to hold me. They want some money. Give them the number of someone to call. I told them I really do not have. Can check my phone. So luckily there was a message people had sent to me, especially those who follow my this, who were sent asking me for some funds, for one problem or the other. So I shared that with them. I said, this is actually what I do. I help people I help people with my own money. I told them what I do.
Were they not saying you should give them money from your own personal pocket? Like you
Yeah.
give out money to people, so give us our own
Yeah,
share.
but the thing is, my account was there. I had nothing that would interest them in my account. So they had to access my account. I gave it to them. There's nothing that could interest them there. So after the second day was just me still lying down on the ground, my hands behind my back, blindfolded.
No water,
No water for throughout that night. Throughout the second day, there was no water until late in the night. When I spoke to one of them, I'm actually asthmatic and I need to use my inhaler. So can I use my inhaler? So he allowed me to use my inhaler, and then he gave me water. Second day, I think it was only on the third day that I got little rice. He gave me little rice to eat, and then.
And at this point, were you able to tell if you were in the bush or in some house?
No, it was actually a house. It was a house, but somewhere very, very. I looked around. You couldn't see any building, but then there was roof. It wasn't like in the open. No, it was like an old abandoned building somewhere in the middle of nowhere, a very small place like that. So.
Were there other people kidnapped, or were you able to tell if there was a presence of other people?
I couldn't tell, but I didn't hear any noise. I didn't hear any noise. I didn't hear.
You were the only one there at the time.
At that time, yeah, I think, but I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear any noise. So after after I ate, I called the guy who interrogated the first guy. I don't know his name. I don't know if you can even place his face. And then I just called him boss. I spoke to him once more and explained myself to him. And I told him, in fact, I feel for their plight. So that's going to be my second campaign after this mental. I actually want to embark on a campaign for serious and well-structured enablement for youths. Those who are out of school and those who are graduates, they should be able to have a support system. Those who have an idea to do business should have a system that can actually take up loans from banks like you have in other advanced organized society. You can take up loans to fund your businesses. So I told him that this is actually what I'm going to do after this particular mission. And I think he's an educated person. The first guy is very educated. From his conversation, the way he treated me, I knew he was actually an informed person. So the point.
The others were they sounded like touts?
Yeah, exactly. The others were very toutish, were kicking and beating. So I could guess their level of education was very low. So at that point, he just told the guys that we'll go free this guy. So, and I actually jokingly asked for that. Said, "Hi, freeing me now, boss. My money is in there. My money is out, and I need to get this thing done. I need to get myself." He was about blindfolded me, brought me to a junction. He had the money put the money in my pocket and dropped me off somewhere again at night.
Were you blindfolded?
Blindfolded, yeah, again at night.
You felt like put money in your pocket. You told him you didn't have money on you again.
Yeah. I told him I actually needed their support if they can, but I'm sure they make money. That what I'm doing, it's for everybody. It's not my personal thing. I'm doing this for everybody. He himself or his family could actually benefit from what I'm doing. So that he appreciated, and he stuffed some money in my pocket, and then they pushed me off somewhere around this town where you have a lot of black marketers along Ogiri.
Okay, the trailer park.
Yeah, but it wasn't not there actually, but somewhere bush, either before or after it.
Can you tell at what point you were kidnapped? Like, was it were you approaching Ogiri initially when you were kidnapped?
Yeah, I think I was approaching Ogiri, but it was still far. Was the bush?
So they dropped you somewhere around there, not too.
Exactly. Yeah, not too far exactly. So
after the left, what happened? What did you do?
I think they lose my hand, so I just took off the blindfold and I laid down.
They gave you your phone. They returned everything.
Yeah, but the camera was damaged. It was smashed through the struggle. So I lost most of the footages I had from that Ibadan to that point. I lost those ones, and it fell off. I can't even say. So and that banner too I used to wear. So I lay down, but I was very, very tired. I laid down in appreciation, half frustration. I just took me a long time. People were driving past, nobody stopped, so I took some time. I had to get up, dust myself, still sat down before eventually getting a taxi. Got a taxi that got me to Ogiri. I think that's the name of the town, around Ogiri, where I got some.
You didn't check what is stuffed into your pocket?
No, I
Immediately
did.
you were
Yeah,
blindfolded?
of course, that was the first thing I did.
Okay, so how much?
That was 50. It was 50,000 actually.
Wow. So the kidnapper actually gave you 50,000 naira?
Yeah. I guess the thing is that especially like the guy I called, the one I think is the leader, he understood what I was out for. He didn't say it because he's a strong man, but I think from his action, he really empathized with my cause. And even wondering why, he actually asked me why I was putting myself. I said, well, these things have to be done. Somebody has to actually do it. So I think the Lord has chosen me to do it, and I think I have no option but to do it. It's painful, I told him. It's grueling.
Were you not even, scared that, oh my God, like I saw my life flash, like right in front of me, like you could have been killed?
Yeah.
Because we hear stories of people being kidnapped. If you're unable to provide a ransom or call somebody, they end up, cutting open the person and selling off parts. I don't know how true, but well, those are the tales we kind of hear from people that have been kidnapped in the past. So were you not even scared at any point, and you were still, strong enough to be able to hold a conversation with them?
Yeah, the thing is this, I don't know if it's a very correct thing, but I have this crazy control. I could be afraid, but I have this crazy control of my fears. I don't know many people who do that, but I'm able to really control my fears. That's actually what makes me to do a lot of things that I do. People tend to be crazy. I was afraid, but I was able to control my fears, also subdue my fears, and still remain calm.
Okay. So would you now say that this point that you are now, will you say you are fulfilled, satisfied with whatever it is that you've been able to achieve so far with this Trek campaign?
Well, I said to somebody a couple of weeks back, if I were to die now, I think I would not regret, because I think we've not achieved if everything we intended to achieve, but we've actually been able to start off something. We're having this conversation, and other ones we've had with other media houses is an achievement. People are getting to talk. Like I said, on our platform, a lot of people came out to share their stories. Have thousands of persons who reacted, and a lot who shared their own personal story. A long lady actually contacted me who actually said that her younger brother battled this, and she never knew people who were mentally deranged can actually come back. Her own brother is a testimony. They got medication got treatment for him, and he's very normal now. Yeah,
so are you willing to continue with this Trek?
Yeah, we
because
are.
Okay, Lagos, according to the map that you had from the beginning, the plan, Lagos was meant to be the stopping point.
The stopping point. And again, I think I need to say this. It's not just we have an intent of raising about 100 million to do a couple of things we need to do, and we intend to do that by auctioning a 30-year-old work of art, masterpiece that was done in honor of MKO some years back. So that's going to happen in Lagos here. So I think I should quickly mention our 5-pronged agenda. What we intend to achieve, first is to raise awareness on the menace of mental health issue. Then secondly, like I said over our conversation, we want to get a dedicated phone line that people who are battling with different kind of mental health issue can call. And then the other one would be we want to establish, especially in big cities like Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, where the pressure of life is small, we want to have a walk-in center. People can actually go in to talk to experts about their challenges. Then the fourth one would be we want to also get this pool of volunteer help workers, that's those who are specialists in the field of mental health care. We want to get a pool of volunteers who can actually take this phone line or be present in the centers to attend to people who are working to get counseling, or people who call over the phone to be spoken to. Then the other one, I think we want to also have a food bank, something I've been working on over years now, but I think I wanted to actually do that now. I want to have food bank around and across some cities in the country. People are struggling. People are struggling can actually go take food either on crate, either to take food on crate or just go eat at least 2 or 3 square meals a day without being bothered, because these are the things that actually push some people to the tip, not knowing what to eat, not knowing where the next
survive the next day.
So even if you're not working, you want to have food banks where people can actually walk in and eat 1, 2, 3 square meal a day. It's something we really want to do. Those are like our major, like we call it 5-point agenda.
Okay.